Hello everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to do a review of my Yamaha Xmax 300. I've had this bike for 3 years now. This is a 2021 model, and I thought there's not a huge deal of videos on the Xmax on YouTube, so I thought I'd throw one into the mix. This is going to be an owner's review. It's not going to be a technical review. I'm not going to go into all the stats of the bike and all that. It's going to be a kind of what the bike's been like to live with for the past 3 years. To cut a long story short, it's been brilliant. It's done everything I've wanted it to, and more. And this isn't going to be a hugely long video. I hope the comment section is going to be full of questions about the bike that I can give hopefully proper answers to. So yeah, if there's anything I don't cover, or anything you want to know more about the bike, or about sort of maxi scooters in general, I guess, then do fire them away in the comments. So while we're off the bike, we can do a bit of a walk around. As you can see, I think it's a really handsome bike. The closest competitor to this bike is probably the Honda Forza 350, and it's tit for tat between the bikes, to be honest. I went on, mainly you want to go on looks, I'd say, because there's no real drastic differences between them, and I just prefer the look of the Yamaha Xmax. This is the, I can't remember what the exact colour scheme is, grey with the kind of sonic, I think they call it sonic blue rims, which I think is nice and smart. Yeah, we'll go around the back as well. I've got a tail tidy on mine, which I think makes the bike look better, as tail tidies often do. The only other modifications I've made on this bike are adding some heated grips, adding an accessory bar, which you can see here, so I can get my phone on there, get my quad lock mount on, and interestingly, somewhat, I've gone for front mounted wing mirrors. See, the original ring mirrors on the Xmax go there and there, and for me it opened up the ride. It felt a bit less claustrophobic, and you're looking out more rather than in here, and I think I prefer it that way, but it's not an essential upgrade. Obviously that's a matter of preference. Again, something like the Honda Forza has front-mounted wing mirrors as standard, so if that's something that you are particularly keen on, then perhaps maybe the Forza's a better option. But I think the Xmax looks better. It's also got a slightly bigger fuel tank, which to me is important. And let's show you around the bike. So let's start up here. So you've got a nice twin dials there, twin analog dials, obviously speed on the left, revs on the right, and if you start up the bike, it comes alive, a little welcome message. So you've got everything you need there. You've got fuel on the left, engine temperature on the right. I've just been out on the motorway, so it's still warm. You've got air temperature there, and your miles, your odometer at the bottom there, and the time there. You can scroll through some settings here. So that top one changes to give you your battery, your traction control, your average consumption overall, and then that is a real-time consumption, and your average speed. And then at the bottom you've got your odometer, and you can change that to show your trip time, your oil, how many miles you've done since your last oil change. I've just had this bike serviced, so not many miles, and your V-belt, how many miles is on that, and then back to your odometer. So yeah, a really good dash. You don't need anything more than that. Everything on the bike is controlled with this central column here. The bike is keyless, so I'll pop it off there. So everything works on the principle of you push that in and then twist to what you want. So you've got open, which means you can either open the seat or the lid to the left there. I'll show you those in a second. Obviously ignition on, and off, and then the other way you'd press in, and that opens up the fuel filler cap, which lives down there. And then if you twist it fully to the right, you've got the steering lock. So that's there. So yeah, while we're here, I'll show you the two storage compartments here. You've got one on the right which isn't lockable. Don't know if you can see that in there. Not hugely useful, you can't fit much in there, but then better than nothing at all. So I've just got a few bits and bobs in there. I've got the toolkit in there, tyre pressure gauge, and some visor cleaner. And this one on the left here is lockable. So to unlock that, you go back to this central column, go to open, and then lid, and that pops open. And this one is, I guess, the more important side, because it has, if you can just about see in there, the 12 volt socket in there. So I've got a USB cable going into that, so you can charge things up. So that is handy. So we'll leave that in the open position, and we'll get, I guess, what is most, excuse the poor filming here, I'm going to do this one-handed. Press the seat button here. One of the main reasons for getting a maxi scoot, which is the under-seat storage, and the Xmax has excellent under-seat storage. You can fit, you can see there in the diagram, 2 helmets in here. Haven't sort of gone through all the combinations, but you can certainly fit a size large and a size small in here. My girlfriend has a size small helmet, I have a size large, and we can fit both our helmets in there. But yeah, there's a light in there as well. But yeah, pretty cavernous. Can't remember what the exact capacity is in litres, but that is a really good amount of under-seat storage. And yeah, once you've had a bike with under-seat storage, it's hard to, a bit like having a top box or something, it's hard to live without it. Now you can hear it beeping here because I've walked out of range and I've left that on open, which might be my cue to show you the key fob. Let's pop that down there. So that there is the key fob that you get. So it's keyless. So once that's in range, you can obviously start the bike or open things up. You do also get a mechanical key to get into the seat should that go flat and you have no way of getting connected to the bike. You can access the seat. But yeah, on that note, that is the only thing, and it's not an issue, the only thing I've had to do on this bike maintenance wise, apart from servicing the bike, is replace the battery in this fob, which I had to do a few months ago. In almost 3 years, the only thing I've had to do is replace the battery on this, and it's not like it stopped working. It's just I was getting an indicator on the dash, saying, yeah, the battery's getting weak on the fob. The signal's getting weak. And that's the only thing that, it's not exactly, you can't exactly say that's something that's gone wrong on the bike. So from a reliability point of view, I've done 6,200 miles, can't remember exactly. So over 3 years, it's not like I've done loads of miles on it, but that's a reasonable mileage. And yeah, not had a single issue with the bike. Which is really good. I'll put up on the screen now what the servicing costs have been with this bike over a 3-year period. All these services have been done at a Yamaha dealer. The seat itself is very comfortable, lovely and wide, very comfortable for your pillion as well. The seat is quite wide, which is good from a comfort point of view. You can, there's plenty of room to, adjust how you're sitting and slide around. But I'm 5'11". I wouldn't want to be too much shorter than myself, to be honest. I mean, the seat height isn't that high, but as it's wide, it does, reduce your leg length, I guess, to reaching the floor. So I think if you're 6 foot or above, absolutely no worries. yeah, 5'11", 5'10", no worries. If anyone shorter than 5'10", I would yeah, get a good decent test ride on the bike, and do bear that in mind. Just check that you're comfortable getting your feet on the deck and things, because obviously the whole point of a maxi scoot is comfort and practicality, so you don't really want to compromise on anything. The front windscreen is manually adjustable. You need to crack out the Allen keys. It's got two settings. This is in its upper setting. You can also set it lower. You know, when you're on the motorway, you'd probably want to get one of those extenders. There's no buffeting, but if you wanted to be in calmer air, you'd probably want to get one of those. The only other thing I would suggest is the rear shocks. That it's meant to be a sporty maxi scoot. It has quite a hard ride as standard, you know, its default setup. I predominantly ride this bike in London, and imagine most people buying a scooter are probably going to be riding them in the urban city environment. I would soften those rear shocks off. I can't remember how many settings they've got. I think it's 3. I adjusted it straight into its softest setting, and it made a hell of a difference. Much more comfortable. If you're someone who's going to be, you know, going out on the twisties at the weekend and, you know, pushing this bike to its limits, then maybe consider keeping it in its firmest setup. You can adjust the shocks. In fact, I'll show you actually. I'll show you the toolkit you get. Fish this out. So again, having to do all this one-handed. Yeah, that is the tool in the toolbox that you need. I won't give you a demonstration, but it's very, very simple to do. That's the tool you need to tighten up or loosen off the shocks. And I think that's it. Nothing more to say in terms of the sort of exterior. Get my gloves on, and we'll go out for a little ride, and I'll talk just briefly more about the bike. Talk about the handling and what the bike is like to ride. So put that on. Yeah, so a nice sort of cockpit. As I said, front mounted wing mirrors, I think make this a better place to be. Accessory bar up there. I've got my heated grips there. Got your lights, pass, full beam, indicator, horn, ignition switch, emergency lights, and your trip. You press right to change the top bar, and you push left to change the all the trip info there. And away we go. The only thing I sort of didn't mention when we're off the bike was where you can put your feet. Obviously got your footboards down here. You can move about a bit around here, not too bad. And then you've also got the upper position here, which is pretty cushy as well. Your feet it's not quite as luxurious as you might hope for on a maxi scoot. You know, you've still got quite a, I think the GoPro's picking this up, quite a right angle to your leg, but still, as compared to a conventional motorcycle, it's lovely to have this option. And on longer journeys, it is nice to be able to, yeah, change your seating position and change where your feet are. So we're going to go out now on a little spin. As I said, the bike has been very easy to live with. It's never let me down. Super practical. The underseat storage is excellent. You know, it means you can take as hefty a security chain and disc locks and what have you with you under the seat as standard, and then park up and get your helmet under there. You certainly wouldn't need a top box or to wear a bag on your back or anything like that. It is It is practical. Obviously it's automatic, so in the urban environment especially, it's lovely to use in the city. For a single cylinder, it's exceptionally smooth. It's pretty peppy as well. For a 300, it's no slouch. You can have a lot of fun on this. I have a reasonably short motorcycling background. My first proper bike when getting my full license here in the UK was a Kawasaki Versys 650, which was a lot of fun. But once I was fully sort of embedded in living in London and commuting in London, I decided that actually a maxi scoot was the way to go, and I have not regretted that. I'm a full convert. I mean, that's a video in itself, to be honest. You know, a maxi scooter compared to a motorcycle. A maxi scooter, considerably more comfortable, considerably more practical, less maintenance as well, in the sense that there's no chain. But it is a different ride. It's undeniably a different riding experience to a motorcycle. I'd say it's 80% as fun, but you're not going to quite get the dizzying highs you can get off a motorcycle. But as a mode of transport, especially if you're commuting for work purposes, you cannot go wrong with a maxi scoot. So as I said, I mainly use this in London, but I have been over to France on this bike, 2 up, with my partner on the back, and every so often I ride from London to Ipswich, which is about a 2-hour ride. A bit of M25, a bit of motorway, and a bit of and then largely A road. And out on the A roads, this bike is absolutely fine. It can sit at 70 miles an hour and 6,000 revs all day long. I was doing a bit of high-speed overtaking today. I think I got up to 85, and it could do more. It could do more. So yeah, do not worry about this thing out on the open road. It is no slouch, and yeah, all-day comfort, as they say, at 70. But obviously round town is where this thing comes into its own, and it's just so easy to ride. It's so smooth, it's so quiet. The fueling is bang on, especially heavily congested cities like London. It's so stop-start. The nature of that stop-start-ness, terrible terminology, gets to you far less when you're on a scooter, not having to clank your way through the gears constantly. Obviously, filtering is a bit of size to this bike, but filtering is very easy on this bike. It's just a very comfortable place to be. Fuel economy, I mean, look at that. That's saying 100 miles to the gallon is what I average, and considering the vast majority of that is stop-starty stuff in London, I'd say that's exceptional value. I wasn't going to get into the stats, but I think it's a 13 litre, I'll put it up on the screen, 13 litre fuel tank, which is a good size. Again, something like the Honda Forza I think is more like 11.5. So bear that in mind if you're comparing the two. There have been some updates to the latest model of Xmax, which might be worth checking out. But yeah, around town, super smooth, super quiet. It's just effortless. It's a really nice bike. I would recommend it. We'll try and get a bit of clear road ahead. We'll do some twisties, and then I'll take it out on the A road. I suppose I could do a stop start. Maybe we'll try and show you what kind of 0 to 50's like, something like that. around these twisties, it's just lovely. You certainly could have a lot of fun on this bike. It's just awesome. You can flick this bike around. It's very flickable. Again, it's not going to give you quite the thrill as a motorbike, but comes close. Let's do a UE here. Okay, so we'll do it from here, going into a national. Check there's nothing behind. Okay, there's nothing behind. There we are, 50 miles an hour. And I probably could have given it a little bit more beans as well. So, you know, it is off the line. Off the line, it's wonderful. So I'll just take it out on the A road now. But that's it, really. I've not got too much more to share with you about the bike. I love the bike. I like it a lot. I mean, if I had money and a big garage and everything, I'd have lots of different types of bike. But I've only got room for one in my life at the moment, and this bike comes closest to doing pretty much everything I want and need from a bike. Right, so we're going to rejoin some faster road now. So here we are at 70 and 6,000 revs. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there, folks. Those are my kind of owner's thoughts / review of the Yamaha Xmax 300, having lived with the bike and owned it for 3 years. Do get the comments in. I'm quite keen for this to be more of a kind of a Q&A about the bike in the comments rather than my kind of video itself, but I hope that's been somewhat interesting and useful to hear about the bike. Yeah, thanks for watching.